name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. I have been listening to Big Finish. I listen to a lot less Big Finish now. I really, it's a lot less Big Finish, and I'm quite happy about it because the Big Finish I'm listening to now was quite good. I just listened to the Clone Masters. From the Worlds of Big Finish, the spin-off from Big Finish. Not really a spin-off. This one's an interesting piece. They're doing something a bit different with this, and I quite like it. I have to tell you, I quite like it. I think I'm on board. I think I'm on board for more of what they're doing. Well, I pre-ordered everything else they're doing within the range, but I think it really works. This one's a recommend, so I'm happy to be recommending Big Finish rather than moaning about it. Before we get into it, can you hit the like button? That would be great. Can you hit the share button? That would be even greater. But you want to go the greatest of all will be subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. That would make me ridiculously happy. I am pathetically happy, I would say, and it's a fair description of it. Pathetically happy. Comment, let me know what you think. Have you listened to this release? Are you interested in listening to this release? Inquiring minds, well, mine one anyway, wants to know. So like, share, subscribe, comment, all these are very, very good things. Let's have a look at this one. Wow, the Clone Masters. Firstly, great cover. Who did the cover? Let's start at the production detail. Cover by where is it? Cover art, Anthony Lamb. Yeah, it shows. It's very, very good. So this is a different beast from what's the other? The Avalon. Avalon from the Worlds of Big Finish was pitched as a spin-off from Blake 7 or a separate series from Blake 7. Which interesting way to go if they'd done anything interesting with the character Avalon, which they did nothing interesting with the character Avalon. In fact, she is by far the least interesting part of those two box sets. Conversely, everybody in this one is interesting, right? Everybody in this, all the characters are compelling and interesting, and I'm very, very much, I was very much into it. But what this is, it's kind of imagine a 3-part side quest with Callie and Jenna, right? And so I can't, where I could imagine Avalon happening, I can't imagine this happening, which is a little bit of a barrier to entry. It is for me. I don't know about you, but it's a bit of a barrier entry for me. I had a similar thing with the Doctor Who release. The one they brought out last year. Was it last year or earlier this year with Peter Davison and the Graceless sisters, the Tracer twins, and Leela? I just couldn't imagine that happening, and so my brain had trouble getting around it. This one, less so. I was able to imagine it quite a bit easier. Even though it basically imagined they had like 3 episodes where they had to film. They just had Callie and Jenna available. And they didn't use any sets. That's basically what it was, and a pretty darn good arc it would have been too. So the Clone Masters. I would really recommend going back and watching the episode Weapon. Having said that, though, right, I did watch Weapon before I listened to this. But it was like a month or so before, so my memory is not that great. This has the 2 Travises in it, which was the first big pull for me. Right, I was really interested to see how they were going to be be able to pull that off, and they do it well because apparently there's a line in Weapon which I completely missed and don't remember whatsoever, where they explain why Travis looks completely different, why it doesn't look like Stephen Grief anymore. Now he looks like Brian Croucher because he's been reconditioned. I don't remember at all, but apparently that everybody in the chat when I was talking about it on my live says, oh yeah, no, that's exactly what went down. So we got Travis. He's on a little bit. Before that, let's go. Rather than me giving my mush mouth rollout of it, let me just read the blurb. Right, so that way I won't get too spoiler either. Why do I not want to get spoilery? Because I want you to buy this. So how much is this? It's $17 if you're outside the UK. £17 here, but it's worth it, right? $27.20 for the CD. Get the download. It's not worth getting the CD. It's the dark history of the Clone Master holds many mysteries. Now, one thing I'm not entirely clear about with Blake Seven. Again, having watched every episode and being what I will call a fan of it, right? I watched it when it first aired. I watched it many times thereafter. I think you can call me a fan of Blake Seven. The aliens in Blake Seven, the Clone Masters, the Aurons. Are they all just humans that they lived on those planets for years and years now, generations, and now they're called Aurons or whatever? I get that's what the basic story is with the Clone Masters. The dark history of the Clone Masters holds many mysteries. Callie and Jenna discover some are lost in time long before the Federation, whilst others were how many long before the Federation's like 300 years in the future. Can't be that long. While other seekers were buried by the Clone Masters themselves before retreating to the homeworld. Gatekeepers and conspirators, gatekeepers or conspirators, pragmatists or the prophets, defenders or destroyers. At the height of their power, how will the Clone Masters respond when Travis plans to weaponize them? A pretty obvious way of looking. Yeah, a pretty clever, I would say, and fun way of entering the story. But that's not how they got to it. So the first story on it is called Separation. An untrustworthy old colleague. That untrustworthy old colleague tempts Jenna away from the Liberator to a secluded forest world. Now, this untrustworthy old colleague is fantastic. She's one of the best bits of this. She's a psychostrategist. I'm just watching the Foundations here as well, so I finally found out what psychostrategists are. it's all from that from Foundation. And she's got a psychostrategy that she's using Jenna on. Basically, she sends them to a forest world, pursuing a mystery that involves Callie's family. Will Jenna and Callie realize the true danger that they face from the Clone Masters before night draws in? So, essentially, what happens is they tempt Callie by showing a clone sister of hers, saying that she's been around, or say no, there's an Auron and giving her a location, and that's how Jenny and Callie end up there. When they end up there, on this forest planet, they find something of incredible importance to the history of the Clone Masters. I don't want to say more than that with it because I don't want to give any of it away. But yeah, I think in the backdrop to this, we had the Queen of the Clone Masters has died, and they're choosing the new queen. So you get quite a lot of world building going into it, but not really so much in this one. I think this whole thing is written by Tim Foley, and it actually works better for it because it's good to have one consistent voice going throughout. So this is a pretty good story. This is where you get that weird bird creature at the top. It's a good mystery, good story, well told, good acting. I think that's a recommend, don't you? I don't think you can ask for any more. Rule of life. Now, things kick up a gear when you get to the Clone Masters planet. When Space Commander Travis makes a fresh demands of the Clone Master, he's surprised by two familiar figures. One, an Aaron outcast, the other is the man he once was, and could be again. So, essentially, Travis wants a clone, right? Travis wants his old clone. Wants a clone. This is the Brian Croucher Travis, and the clone comes out as Stephen Grief. Says, "Oh, that's before my reconditioning." I'm like, "Oh, well." So I guess that's how they explain the actors. But what you would get much more is an interesting cat and mouse between Travis and one particular clone master, as two of them try to outwit each other with the backdrop of this conclave going on, where the clone masters are choosing their new ruler. I don't think Callie and Jenna's in that one. Right, I honestly I don't remember because they kind of all merged into one in my head. The third part is the conclave, where the conclusion of it. The queen of the Clone Masters is dead. The search for a successor draws guests from across the galaxy. Yeah, so it's a big posh do, right? But it goes on for weeks and weeks. I mean, maybe months. Looking for something else on their visit. On their visit are Callie and Travis. Between them, they could unwittingly tear down the Clone Master's world forever. So this does end with a cataclysmic finale, which ties into a season 4 episode. But a far more interesting part of it is Travis's story, which, honestly, they left his fate on a bit of a cliffhanger. But he survives because he turns up again in the. Well, was it not Turbinus? In Star One. Also, what they also set up for Star One is why Travis wants to destroy all of humanity. Like what happened to break him, and the broken Travis they have throughout this is freaking brilliant, right? It's absolutely brilliant. So for me, again, strong recommend. It's very much in the feel of Blake 7. Generally speaking, I think Big Finish are still reliable on everything that is not Doctor Who, right? Doctor Who, I think they just got too comfortable with and too bored with, and they, I think the Rangers, there are many Rangers are in general suffering. Rangers like Blake 7. What was it? The Jerry Anderson stuff, Space 1999. They're normally very, very strong still. This one's very strong. So yeah, this one's a recommend. If you like Blake 7, this one's a recommend. If you don't like Blake 7, I will still recommend it. If you've never seen Blake 7, I'll still recommend it. If you don't like Blake 7, probably not for you. But if you ever seen Blake 7, this is actually an interesting, I think you could, this is an interesting entry point to it. It's slightly different. But yeah, a strong entry. I'm looking forward to the next release, which is Babum, which sounds like it's going to be fantastic, and the Terra Nostra. So also on this is a making of documentary where you get a little hint about where they're going, and essentially they're doing more of these things. They're setting things up for things that are happening outside the world of the Liberator. So it's a little bit contrived, right, to keep this going. Honestly, what I think they should have done is the thing they kept saying, no, nobody would want that, which is set it like 100 years later, have a bunch of new convicts find a Liberator-like ship, and on board are a bunch of people in suspended animation. Basically, who is ever still alive, like Michael Keating, Stephen Grief, Brian Croucher, whoever you want, Sally Cavett, just have them all there, and that'll be the mystery, and you can basically you move the world on about 100 years, but you still get that feel. But no, they said no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do more. Really, I think we want more of that. But in lieu of more of the same, this is a recommend. Okay, this is a recommend. It's clever, it's well written, well acted, well directed. Everything about it is good. Really, everything about it is good. So I'm happy to recommend it. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.